Happy Sunday. This is your style appetizer for the week. And I am going to talk to you about something that's a little out of the ordinary. And the reason why it's a little out of the ordinary is because I just had this conversation with a very good friend of mine, and we talked about the aspects of ourselves. Actually, I recognized an aspect of myself that we don't speak out into the world a lot. And so I'm recording this in front of Buddha because Buddha's gaze is turned inward. And what happened in this conversation, which was really mind-blowing to me, what happened in this conversation is that what came out was, we always try to put our best foot forward, when we're speaking out into the world, when we're showing up with other people, especially for me as a quote unquote transformational mentor. What shows up a lot is this this thing that's super overrated, which is perfection. You've heard me talk about it, looking good and being perfect. And what if you're not? What if you're angry? What if something's not going well? What if you really want to just let the world know that you're overwhelmingly frustrated and upset? And so most of us get to a place in our adulthood where we recognize, okay, I'm upset, I'm angry, I need to have a conversation with someone. And there's still, as we're getting more mature, there's still an underlying feeling of, I don't really need to talk about that. That's not so important. At least I have it. I don't know if you have it, but let me know, because I want to hear your feedback. And I've been noticing that there are things that in my life, and I'm going first so that you can go next. I'm leading this conversation with transparency because I haven't always done a good job of actually saying when I'm upset, because I come from a history of having a very short fuse. I come from a history of I've always walked into a room and yeah, what is that? It's been very easy. And so I'm going to give you an example. So the example was that I have some neighbors and they're always putting stuff in front of my garage so that I can't get my car out of the garage, my parking space. And I go, that's so uncool. But then I think, okay, do I really want to die on this hill? And so the resentment has been building up and building up and building up and building up. And then other people park their cars there, and, other parking spaces, other things happen that are kind of similar, and they're very little, but they are a little tiny pebble in my shoe. And then not taking that pebble out and speaking about it and looking at it, the pink elephant in the room, then what happens is that the pebble gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And suddenly you have a big clunky rock in your shoe and you can't really move. And so this friend of mine was saying, if you don't show people who you really are, then first of all, you're suffering, which is so true. And second of all, the other person doesn't know what's going on. And the other thing is that the other person doesn't really get to see who you are. And then they can't make a choice of whether they want to continue to have a conversation with you, talk to you about this, be in your life, you be in their life. It stops the whole connection conversation. It stops the whole relationship conversation, meaning relationship with my mother, my daughter, my sister, anyone. So how can we, this is why this style appetizer was so important for me today. How can we look inward like Buddha does and have a conversation of clarification with love and say, this is what's going on with me. This is not okay. This is what I need. And still come up against difficulties, because not everyone is going to like what you're going to have to say. And for me, that was a really hard one, because I've spent so much of my life being in defiance and always out loud. And I never really cared if somebody got upset. I would just speak my mind. And for the most part, I do. And then there are some instances where I don't. So my invitation to all of us on the Style Appetizer this week is, where do you not tell the truth? And what is it costing you? What is it costing you to not open your mouth and say what's on your heart and say the thing that's the hardest thing to say? And can you mean what you say what you mean, and don't say it mean? So I look forward to hearing back from you. I can't wait. It's still hard for me. So you're not the only one. If it's hard for you, you're not the only one. You know, we want to be kind. And sometimes say what you mean what you say. Don't say it mean. Just don't say it mean. I love you. Have a great Sunday. And I can't wait to hear back from you. What's going on in your life? Go play in your closet. Light up the world and tell me which corner of the world you're lighting up today. Bye.